Previously on Family Guy.
The weather out here is absolutely awful. The wind whistling through the barn. It's huge. So hello, my name is Carl. I'm 2 Echo 0 Echo Zulu Tango. The aim for this video is just to give my personal reflection on 3 different types of coils. So I'm out here in the Peak District at the bunk barn, which is a remote barn in the Peak District. It gives me a chance to try out different antennas and different wires and different sort of configurations in the comfort of a barn in the middle of a storm in the Peak District. And the weather outside is absolutely awful at the moment. So I've got the super antenna, which is what I purchased a couple of years ago. So that is what I purchased. This is what was sent to me from the US, so thank you to Sean. So I've not been asked to do any sort of review on it or do anything favourably on this one. And this is the SlideWinder coil, which is sent from the chaps at M1ECC antennas, and they've sent it to me. I've not bought it, but they've asked me to do a review of it and just to give some sort of reflection on it. So I'll give an honest reflection of, you know, what I think this is like compared to what I've been used to in the past and also in the recent past as well. So in this video I'm just going to give some personal reflection on the SlideWinder coil. So in a few minutes I'm going to go outside and set up the SlideWinder, and what I've done already since I've been here, because I've been here for a couple of days now, is I ran the Wolf River coil again from outside on 20 meters. So I've had this set up, and within the space of about an hour of using this, I managed to get 2 voice contacts. I got 2 FT8 contacts and an FT4 contact, and that was just within an hour of using it. So setting this up, it took about 20 minutes, and partly because I had already set this up from the last visit. I just needed to make some absolutely finer tweaks. And what I did find with the Wolf River, and I don't know if it's just me or not, but moving this coil, moving this tuning bit is really, I find it quite tough, but it's doable. It can move, it does move, you can move it. The build quality of this is quite good, of the Wolf River coil. You could tell that you know, it's had a bit of care into it, and they've got a decent reputation. So this came with a whip and a tripod and 4 radials. I'm going to use exactly the same tripod, whip and 4 radials on the SlideWinder. Now the chaps do recommend to use the 1979, which is the very long, I think it's a 5 meter, yeah, it's probably quarter wave, 5 meter telescopic whip from MFJ. But the wind out here is absolutely awful. It'll tank it as soon as I try and put up a small tripod. And this is part of the issue with I think with the portableness of these, the fantastic backpack type antennas, but it is a little bit weather dependent. So whereas on the one hand you get the ability to set up in many different terrains, you know, no trees, no fences to put up a pole, you know, you can actually set an antenna up in more or less any terrain, but there is some limits around the weather as well. And there's ways around that. I mean, I built a little guiding system for the MFJ, but that is one downside to the coil type antennas. Whereas you get portability, but you also got some limits on that. The SlideWinder, as soon as I got this out of the box, in fact, hang on. So it was well tracked. I mean, the guys were hot on with the tracking. As soon as I got a knock on my door, I almost got a phone call from the chaps going, "Yeah, we've seen you've had it delivered." I was like, "Wow, you guys are slick." When I got this out, and I was showing my eldest daughter, and the actual build quality I think is superb. I've not used it yet, so I don't know how it performs, but I could tell by the way that this slides up and down, and you can also adjust the tension on it. the tightness of it. So speaking to one of the chaps the other day, he was saying that you can tighten that up. But I feel that it's had some care into the design of it. So yeah, that's my first impression. Obviously, the super antenna has the the coils actually built within the system, and that's a contained. That is of pretty precision quality. The Wolf River itself, the coil itself, you can tell it's definitely well machine made. It's just that I find that that's a little bit cumbersome. There's not much I know about these sort of things, but what I do know about coils is if you need to get an antenna to be electrically at the right length for the band that you're working on, but you can't afford to run a really long wire out, then you would use a coil, and the coil gives you the electrical length. But what you get with that is you get some losses. The performance is not as good as running a full piece of wire, because in some ways having a coil, sending a signal through a coil, you do get some sort of resistance. There's an electrical resistance, and you need that resistance to actually make sure the radio sees the the right impedance. But what you get with that, you get some losses. Saying that, you balance that against the portability of these systems. So you accept the losses against what you gain for being able to get into places that you wouldn't normally get to. So yesterday I ran this on 20 watts voice and FT8 and FT4, and I made contacts. And if I was doing parks on the air, I made my contacts within an hour. So you can make contacts, you can get long distance. And as I saw in one of the previous videos, on this Wolf River coil, I was receiving DX from the US and all over the place. So receive wise, I was getting some decent signals on that. So without blathering on, I'm going to go in the cold and wet and try and set this up. So this will be fun. I'm hoping with this, the ability to slide this up really quickly, I can lay the radials out, set this on a tripod, put the whip out, run back in and tune it in with the antenna tuner. So let's give that a go.
November Radio 3 Quebec.
0 Echo Zulu Tango. I've just taken down the equipment, taken down the antenna. I've done a day's filming. Really impressed with it. I do love the design. It tunes in really nice compared to the other coil that I've been using the past couple of weeks. This has got a much broader bandwidth to operate in, whereas the Wolf River was quite tight. So I found that was quite a blessing. So yeah, really good, really enjoy it. Now I've got an idea. I don't know if you like this or not, but it came in a tube like this, which was great. And I'm still using this tube just to carry it around in. Now, if these tubes were made out of sort of like a plastic, like a carrying case, could you get in? Let me just get some of these. Could you get in the legs of an antenna, and then the coil, and then a bottom piece? That all went into one tub with a little handle on it or something. That would be dead cool. That would be like you could carry all of your antenna, apart from the wire. Obviously, you just sling some wire in, but the rest of the antenna is in a case like that comes with the antenna with the coil. Okay, right. So I've run 20 meters on the SlideWinder throughout the afternoon and the evening. I've made 4 contacts. I've not really been hammering the transmissions. I've been doing a lot of whisper, trying a bit of voice out, FT4, JS8, FT8. So I've been jumping around a bit. So I've got 4 contacts in, which pretty much is the same as the other antenna. I've had no problem at all with it, with the I quite enjoy the bandwidth being quite wide on the antenna. I think that is really nice to have on 20 meters. So being able to jump onto voice and back down to the digital modes. So cracking. The actual SlideWinder is lighter than the Wolf River coil. No major difference between them, you know, from my experience, apart from the design of the SlideWinder is much easier to tune. But you know, they are very like for like, except that the SlideWinder is available in the UK, and that's the key bit, that actually you get it on order in the UK, and I'll put the links below anyway. So I think it's fair to say that, you know, it's a good antenna. I'll definitely go out with it, put it into the backpack, and use it again and again. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to add some comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. So bye for now.